What is going on, guys? Hope everyone is well. So, Technical Sunday episode 11, guys, covering Eurjpy, USDJPY, and gold US dollar. So, starting with Eurjpy, which has give us nice downward movement that I predicted last week. So, I just wanted to give you guys some perspective here. If we put out the weekly charts, we can see that we are in this nice downtrend channel with those clean 1, 2, 3, and 4th, 5th Elliott wave. So we are actually riding the 5th wave of this weekly downtrend channel. So if we zoom in at the daily, even though H4, just to show you guys what was last week all about. So last week I've called this short right here. So we started the week actually right in this nice bearish candle, and we've been going south ever since for a 220 pips. So it was a clean downward movement. What we can see in the daily charts, if we come back at the daily, is that we are actually creating support at 116,400. So this was my target for this trade. So now we can see that we are actually creating this head and shoulder and finishing up this head and shoulder with this fourth touch of this support. So fourth touch of the support here, and usually at the fourth touch of a support, even more when it's a head and shoulder, we can expect that we will break down the support and retest it, and then going further south, right? So this is what I'm going to be looking at for this week, even though there's still maybe 20% of chance that we still reject the support and go a little bit higher and creating maybe a last pullback, but I would be expecting at 80% of chance that we break down this support at the beginning of the week and retest it. So this will be the first support, 116,400, that I would be expecting to break down and retest, because we will be retesting as well the heart line of this downward weekly channel. So the heart line is usually the 50% level of the downward channel. So this is a huge level in a downtrend channel. So we'll be expecting a retest in the same time of the heart line, and then right below we have a bigger support, which is a daily support, which has been tested 1, 2, and that will be the third touch of this daily support. So third touch of the daily support, I will be expecting a break as well, and a retest, and a bigger retest of the heart line around that zone here, so around 116.00, which is a psychological level as well. So from there, my next target for Eurjpy will be, obviously I will be looking at some extension and in my H4 fib and daily fib, which can be creating support, smaller support, but final target will be 112. Those two psychological level and weekly support, 112 and 110, which happen to be in confluence with this bottom of channel. So this bottom of channel here, so we're talking about 400 pips, even 500 pips if we look at those daily support. So we can see that those were the last low of 2016. So pretty interesting setup, guys, for this week. I will do nothing before those two breaks. So those will be the two main thing I will be looking at for Eurjpy, and my entry are pretty clean. So 116, 400, 300 once we break this first support, and 116.00 psychological level once we break the second daily support and retest of the heart line for entries. So this looks pretty clean for this week. Now let's quickly talk about USD GPY, because I just think this is another clean setup that I wanted to share with you guys. Again, to give you guys some perspective on USD GPY, we were in this uptrend, trend line here. A little bit of the same setup that Euro GPY, but again different. So we broke down this uptrend trend line, retested in February. Then we had this huge downward movement as expected, and then the stock market started to fall. So there were a lot of liquidity into the US dollars. So we had this big bounce up, reaching the last high of February, and then we started to fall again as a lot of bad data started to come in from the US. So the US started to lose some value again, and then we are forming this structure, kind of a head and shoulder, forming this H4 support. This is a smaller support, 1, 2, 3, and we are about to touch actually the fourth touch of this smaller support, completing this head and shoulder and confirming that this is our neckline. So I will be expecting a break of this smaller support, and even more a break of this bigger support, bigger daily support. If we come back here, we can see that 1, 2, that will be maybe third or fourth touch of this daily support. So again, break, retest, and if we do break and retest, anywhere around 106, 700 will be a nice entry. And again, first target will be 200 pips, so around 104, 600, and then we can even close maybe half of position here and write it down all the way down until the last low of March. So just a quick trade that I wanted to share because I thought it was pretty clean. And now let's look at gold US dollar again. So gold, we've smashed the monthly target that I had of 1700. We even been higher and creating a little bit of resistance around 1740. So creating this smaller structure, double top in H1, and then we pulled back. If we zoom in H1, we pulled back and retested the 1700, suggesting that we could go a little bit lower. So now what I did is identify my potential support. So first potential support that I will be looking at is 1670 with so we had this, basically that's the last high right before we break up this 1700 support. And the other support, a little bit of a bigger support that I will be looking at, is 1640. So 1640 with 1, 2, 3 touch of this support. That is where it is most likely, I think, that we will pull back from here and come back higher than 1700. Now there's a third support that I think it is less likely to happen, but anything can happen in the market, so I will be eyeing this support as well. It is the 71.6 on a daily level, Fibonacci level. So those are the three support that I will be looking at for gold for a daily pullback. And then final target for gold, next monthly target will be the next 100, so 1800 right here. If we do look back in the past, we can see that this is actually the last resistance when we created those high in September, December 2012. So this is the logical target for gold right now, taking all this new recession in consideration, all this new data that came in unemployment rate of the US that is the worst since a decade. So this is just logical that the US will start depreciating in value, as I've shown you with the US dollar GPY chart, and gold should get higher from there. So it is only a question of time, only a question of pullback zone and opportunity to go long again on this pair. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the video. Feel free to comment any comments or questions in the comment section. I will be happy to